The mysterious journey into the world of Stoicism begins right now. Today we will plunge into a philosophy that not only provides the keys to wisdom, but also reveals the secrets of effective time management. Prepare to discover the unexplored facets of your existence, because today we will tell you how the Stoics see the value of time and what lessons we can learn from their wisdom for a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Welcome to the world of Stoic understanding of time. Dear viewers, are you ready for an exciting journey? Separate what is in your control and what is out of it. There are often situations in life that we cannot fully control. These may be external circumstances, actions of other people, or unforeseen events. The Stoics teach us to focus on what is within our power and let go of what lies beyond it. One of the key aspects of this principle is the realization that we cannot change all aspects of life. Overly caring about what is happening outside of our control can lead to anxiety and stress. Stoics suggest focusing on our actions and the decisions we can make, instead of wasting energy on useless worries about uncontrollable factors. It is important to master the art of distinguishing between influence and lack of control. This does not mean completely ignoring external factors, but rather the ability to respond to them with wisdom and resource allocation. Stoics emphasize that the impact on the world often begins with the impact on oneself and one's reactions. By adopting this principle, we begin to see that our internal state and reactions are amenable to our control. Distinguishing between the inner and the outer allows us to focus on what is really important and find peace of mind in those areas where our efforts can bear fruit. This principle becomes the basis for building a more sustainable and effective lifestyle. The principle of separating what is in your control and beyond it in Stoicism brings clarity and focus to our way of thinking. Let's analyze it in more detail. The Stoics teach us to realize that the world around us consists of two basic elements: what is under our control and what lies beyond our control. The first is our thoughts, emotions, actions, decisions, and attitude to the world around us. The second is external circumstances, actions of other people, natural phenomena, and many other factors that we cannot directly influence. The basic idea is to actively work on what is under our control and not waste excessive energy on what is beyond our influence. This does not mean completely ignoring external factors, but rather accepting their existence and dividing them into those that we can influence and those that lie outside our sphere of influence. The principle helps to avoid useless worries, anxieties, and disappointments associated with what is beyond our control. Instead, Stoics suggest focusing on what we can change and developing the inner strength to deal effectively with what is under our control. The practice of this principle leads to a more harmonious and balanced lifestyle, frees you from unnecessary stress, and allows you to use your resources more effectively to achieve goals and cope with difficulties. Live in accordance with nature. Let's take a closer look at how this principle can affect our lives. In the context of Stoicism, nature means not only the nature around us, but also the structure of the universe, the laws of life, and man's own nature. The Stoics argue that we must accept the world as it is and find inner harmony with this order. This principle also implies that we must be aware of the inevitable changes in life, as they are part of a natural process. Instead of fighting against them or trying to change the unchangeable, Stoics advise accepting these changes and learning to adapt. Living in accordance with nature also includes awareness of our locality in the world and our responsibilities towards society. Stoics emphasize the importance of serving the common good and conforming to moral principles that are consistent with the nature of human society. This principle introduces an element of peace and wisdom into our way of life, allowing us to be more relaxed about the changes and challenges we face. Instead of fighting nature or trying to control everything around us, the Stoics urge us to cooperate with the flow of life, accepting it for what it is, and striving for harmony in our thoughts and actions. Striving to accept change and natural uncertainty helps us develop the ability to adapt and grow through life's challenges. The refusal to avoid difficulties builds resilience and the ability to see difficulties as an opportunity for one's own development. An important aspect is also respect for nature and the environment. Stoics emphasize the importance of respect for nature, conscious use of resources, and balance between man and the world around him. This principle also encourages self-knowledge and the observance of virtues. Living in accordance with nature, we strive for honesty, justice, wisdom, and other valuable qualities that are in harmony with the natural order of things. As a result, live according to nature in Stoicism provides the fundamental principles for creating a more conscious, balanced, and harmonious lifestyle. Don't give in to fears. Stoics teach us that most fears are related to external events or things that lie beyond our control. They emphasize that we cannot completely avoid external threats or misfortune, but we can always control our reactions and attitudes towards them. One of the key points of the "don't give in to fears" principle is the idea that fears often arise from our assessment of events, and not from the events themselves. Stoics suggest reconsidering their views on external situations, looking for objectivity in assessments, and accepting them with wisdom rather than an emotional reaction. They also call for meaningful preparation for possible difficulties in order to reduce the fear of them. This includes realistic risk assessment, development of action plans, and preparation for those situations that we can control. An important part of this principle is also the distinction between what is important and what is not worth our fear. Stoics urge us to focus on what really matters in our lives and ignore unnecessary worries that can only interfere with our development and happiness. The ultimate goal of the principle of "do not give in to fears" in Stoicism is to develop inner fortitude and wisdom in accepting life challenges, which in turn contributes to a more balanced and prosperous life. They urge us to analyze and rationalize our fears. This includes a meaningful examination of how real and probable the events that cause us fear are. This approach helps to reduce the influence of emotions on our perception and allows us to manage our emotions more effectively. The principle of "don't give in to fears" also includes the recognition that unhappiness and difficulties are often inevitable in life. Stoics argue that instead of avoiding difficult situations, we should develop the ability to cope with them. This provides us with a deeper level of confidence and resilience. Another interesting aspect of the principle is the idea that fears can be a force that can be transformed into motivation and energy for personal growth. Instead of suppressing their fears, Stoics suggest using them as a push to overcome themselves, become stronger and wiser. In general, the principle of "do not give in to fears" in Stoicism calls for conscious and skillful management of your emotions, the development of inner resilience, and the use of fears as a means for personal development. The practice of prudence. The practice of prudence begins with an awareness of our goals and values. Stoics call for a clear definition of what is truly important to us in life. This may include aspects such as virtues, relationships with others, personal development, and contributions to society. One of the key aspects of this principle is to exclude the influence of emotional outbursts or external pressures from decisions. Stoics encourage us to make thoughtful and reasonable decisions that are consistent with our goals and values, even if external circumstances may be difficult. Stoics also emphasize the importance of being able to anticipate the possible consequences of decisions and choose those that best suit long-term goals. The practice of prudence involves thinking about what actions will contribute to our well-being in the long run. The principle also teaches us how to manage our desires and aspirations so that they do not lead to unreasonable decisions. Stoics call for restraint and the prudent use of resources, both physical and emotional. In general, the practice of prudence in Stoicism is a key element for creating a balanced and purposeful lifestyle based on reasonable decisions and values, which contributes to a sustainable and satisfying existence. Stoics teach that reasonable decisions are based on a clear and objective view of the situation. This includes the ability to weigh facts, analyze consequences, and make decisions that are consistent with our goals and values. The practice of prudence requires us to be able to restrain the influence of emotions and fears on our decisions. Stoics call for conscious control over emotional reactions in order to avoid that feelings can distort our view of events. Stoics emphasize that change and uncertainty are inevitable in life. The practice of prudence involves the ability to accept inevitable variables with wisdom and see them as an opportunity for personal growth and development. The central idea is to distinguish between what we can control and what lies beyond our influence. The Stoics teach that we cannot completely control the outside world, but we can always choose our reactions to it. Practicing prudence also means being able to identify what is really important in our lives. This includes focusing on the essential and separating it from the secondary. Stoics call for independent thinking and rejection of the influence of external circumstances on our decisions. The practice of prudence involves the ability to stay true to your principles, even if something unexpected happens around you. The value of time. For the Stoics, the value of time is associated with the awareness of the brevity of life and the uniqueness of each moment. They emphasize that time is not a returnable resource and urge you to use it wisely. The main aspects. The uniqueness of the moment. Every moment is unique, and its value cannot be repeated. Stoics urge to consciously live the present. The brevity of life. Stoics teach that life is short, motivating to purposefully use time for development and well-being. Overcoming procrastination. Stoics take procrastination seriously, emphasizing the importance of action and non-delay. Priorities and values. Awareness of time constraints helps to put important things in the foreground and avoid unnecessary waste of time. The passage of time and change. Stoics remind us that time is inexorably flowing and emphasize the inevitability of change. It helps to better experience difficulties and appreciate moments of joy. The value of time in Stoicism is a constant reminder of the value of our lives and the need to use each moment wisely. The Stoics teach that we ourselves are the guardians of our time. They support the idea that we are responsible for how we use our hours and days. This understanding promotes an active approach to life and a more conscious allocation of time. The Stoic approach to the value of time also includes an emphasis on the present moment. They urge you not to get lost in memories of the past or worries about the future, but to focus on the current moment. This contributes to a deeper and more intense perception of life. Stoics emphasize that the difficulties and trials we go through are also part of the value of time. They urge us to see difficulties as opportunities for personal growth and overcoming, which makes our time more meaningful. An important aspect of the Stoic view of the value of time is the understanding that efforts should be distributed fairly between different areas of life. This includes a balance between work, personal life, self-development, and leisure. Stoics also recognize the importance of time for rest and recovery. Understanding that rest helps conserve energy and improves productivity makes a significant contribution to the value of time. The general idea is not to consider time as an unlimited resource, but as a valuable and limited gift. This understanding encourages responsible and wise use of time to achieve personal and professional goals, as well as to create a more meaningful and satisfying life.